What if the key to more happiness is imagining life without the things you love? Weird? Yes. Backed by neuroscience? Also, yes.
Please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Check the description for trusted sponsors and ways to support the show. I never expected this, but research shows that people who practice mental subtraction, which is imagining life without the good things they have, report a 40% increase in daily happiness compared to those who don't. But here's the twist. Most of us may be doing gratitude completely wrong.
That's fascinating. I've heard about gratitude journals and positive thinking, but this sounds like a totally different approach.
Well, it's actually based on this fascinating psychological principle called hedonic adaptation, our brain's tendency to get used to positive circumstances. Think about it, like your phone. When you first got it, it was amazing, but now it's just, there.
So mental subtraction basically hacks that adaptation process? How exactly does that work?
The science behind it is pretty remarkable. Studies from Harvard's psychology department show that when people actively imagine the absence of positive elements in their lives, it triggers a neural response that's similar to actually experiencing loss. But here's the key. It's temporary and controlled.
That sounds potentially risky, though. Couldn't focusing on loss trigger anxiety?
That's where the methodology becomes crucial. The research shows that when done properly, meaning brief, focused sessions followed by conscious appreciation, it actually reduces anxiety by about 25% in regular practitioners. It's like a psychological vaccine, a small controlled dose that builds emotional resilience.
Tell me more about how someone would actually practice this. Like, what's step one?
Well, let me share a surprising example. In one study, they had participants imagine life without something as simple as their morning routine. The results were incredible. People reported a 60% increase in life satisfaction just from this basic exercise.
That seems almost too simple to be true. What makes such a basic exercise so powerful?
It's all about the ripple effects. When you really dive into it, that morning routine connects to everything: your energy levels, your relationships, your work performance. The researchers found that participants started noticing these connections they'd never considered before.
You know, that reminds me of something I read about the way our brains process gratitude. Didn't they do some brain scanning studies on this?
Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting. fMRI studies show that mental subtraction activates both the prefrontal cortex, our planning center, and the amygdala, which processes emotions. It's literally rewiring our brain's appreciation circuits.
That's incredible, but how do you keep it from turning into a spiral of negative thinking?
The key is in the structure. The research protocol recommends a specific 3-step process: 30 seconds of subtraction, followed by 60 seconds of active appreciation, then 30 seconds of positive action planning. This ratio was found to be optimal for maintaining emotional balance.
So it's really more like a controlled thought experiment than just dwelling on loss?
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating. Longitudinal studies show that people who practice this technique regularly experience a 45% improvement in relationship satisfaction and a 30% reduction in stress levels over 6 months.
Those are some compelling numbers. What about the workplace applications?
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. Companies that have implemented mental subtraction exercises in their team-building programs report a 35% increase in employee engagement and a 28% improvement in collaboration metrics.
That's remarkable. Have there been any unexpected findings from all this research?
Actually, yes. One of the most surprising discoveries was the physical health benefits. Regular practitioners showed a 15% reduction in blood pressure and improved immune system function. But what really caught researchers off guard was the sleep quality improvement, a whopping 40% better sleep reported by regular practitioners.
Well, that certainly challenges the assumption that focusing on what we might lose would keep us up at night.
Right? And here's another counterintuitive finding. People who practice mental subtraction actually become more optimistic about the future, not less. The data shows a 50% increase in positive future outlook among regular practitioners.
How do they explain that paradox?
The leading theory is that by understanding what we could lose, we become more proactive about protecting and nurturing what matters. It's like having a psychological insurance policy that makes us feel more secure, not less.
That makes sense. What about long-term sustainability of these benefits?
The follow-up studies are really encouraging. After 2 years, 85% of participants maintained their improved well-being levels. And, here's the kicker, 70% had naturally expanded the practice into other areas of their lives without being prompted.
Those are impressive retention rates. Any final thoughts on getting started?
Well, the research suggests starting with what they call the 30-60-30 method. First, 30 seconds of letting go through subtraction, then a full minute of focused appreciation, and finally, 30 seconds to visualize your next uplifting action. It's shown to be the most effective onboarding approach for beginners.
That sounds doable, and it's fascinating how something so simple can have such profound effects.
Indeed. And perhaps that's the most powerful insight from all this research. Sometimes the most effective tools for improving our lives aren't complicated techniques or expensive programs, but simple shifts in how we think about what we already have. Thanks for tuning in to the Wellness Lab Digest. If this episode helped you, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1. Subscribe to stay updated with fresh, body-loving wellness insights. 2. Share this episode with a friend who needs this today. 3. Comment below and tell us what topics you'd love to hear next. Want to do even more? Check the video description for ways to support the show. Stay curious, stay well, and we'll see you in the next episode.